New details tonight on a violent encounter. Baltimore County Police released a body camera video showing a deadly police shooting in Essex.
We have live team coverage starting with WJZ investigator Mike Helgren at the Essex precinct with the decision not to charge that officer. Mike.
Vic and Nicole, the police chief defended the officer's actions in what she called the split-second decisions that he had to make. This remains under investigation. The officer also shot a bystander who survived, and that officer remains on the job here in Essex tonight.
You got your license, bud? Oh, don't!
Baltimore County prosecutors will not charge an officer who shot and killed an armed man outside an apartment complex on Skipjack Court in Essex last month.
I want to shout the sentiment, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, and all lives matter.
Hold it ground! Hold it ground!
The video is graphic, and WJZ is not showing the fatal shots. The family says Robert Johnson Jr. from Owings Mills was attending a birthday party when a neighbor called 911 to report a rowdy cookout. Police read the transcript of that call.
It's a crowd of young guys outside. They're drinking, they're all over the top of people's cars.
I have one person shot. I need a medic.
The officer, identified only as Officer Knight, as police do not share first names, fired 8 times at Johnson. He was hit in the back and buttocks.
As difficult as this video is to watch, it shows our officer in the right place and working to keep the community safe.
We're at the top of the court. You see the gun in Mr. Johnson's right hand, and this is after numerous times that Officer Knight commanded him to stop.
Police and prosecutors say Johnson dropped, then picked up a handgun and pointed it at Officer Knight as he ran. They say a finger injury showed his hand was on the trigger. Johnson never fired at the officer.
Stop!
Pointing the gun back at the officer shows him to be a continuous threat to the officer.
Johnson's family said in an earlier published report they believe he was not a threat and police should not have used deadly force. They are planning a press conference Friday. And the deputy state's attorney says Johnson had been released from federal prison on weapons charges just a month before he was killed. He was prohibited, she said, from owning a gun, and that gun he had was stolen from Virginia. She says it explains why he was adamant not to get caught. Live at the Essex Police Precinct, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
All right, Mike, thank you. Abigail Burnett with us now. And Abigail, we know you spoke to some people in that neighborhood where the shooting happened. What did they tell you?
Well, Nicole, one man told me there was so much commotion in that neighborhood on the night of this officer-involved shooting. There are other people now more than a month later who still have questions.
Stop!
1 month to the day that I moved in, and I didn't know. No, I didn't know.
It was news to some people here on Skipjack Court in Essex that a deadly police-involved shooting happened here last month.
All I know is the place was roped off.
Flashback to the night of May 16th.
There was just a lot of commotion.
The Baltimore County Police Department says when one of their officers responded to a call about a crowd, someone with a gun confronted the officer, and the officer shot and killed that person. Police later identified the man who died as 29-year-old Robert Johnson Jr.
They came home from work and they told us they wouldn't let us even walk to the house.
After the department's investigation, the officer is now back on duty, but residents here wonder if police had to shoot.
Like, it's other protocol to follow before you just start shooting somebody. I don't really have too much more to say because I don't know the whole entire circumstance. But from what I've seen, it's just maybe it could have been handled differently. I feel like it definitely could have been handled differently.
Now, WJZ was unable to make contact with Robert Johnson Jr.'s family. He's a man who died in that officer-involved shooting. Live at 6, Abigail Burnett for WJZ.